collectors, and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at Cyberchanger's Dinobot Snarl from the new Transformers Cyberworld line from Hasbro. So I just found this today at my local Target. They actually had the entire first wave of this basic assortment, the $9.99 assortment. And I did have Optimus coming online from Walmart. I could have bought it in store today, but it had already shipped, so hopefully that's getting here tomorrow, so we'll take a look at him tomorrow. But it looks like the case is basically 2 of each, which is nice, so whoever you're looking for, you should have a decent chance. I'm glad they didn't weight it with like more Optimus and Megatrons and only one of each of the other two. I'm glad they didn't do that. So, but yeah, Snarl looks pretty good. We have this standard open packaging here where it's just tied onto the card. Some nice artwork of the character here on the side, and then some artwork of his Dino mode down here. On the sides, just has the name, says Cyberchangers. Picture kind of continues over to the side over there. On the back here shows product shots of the robot mode and the Dino mode, and then also shows Galvatron and Skybite as being available. And he is in the jungle biome. But at this point, I'm just happy to have an Autobot finally, because it's been nothing but Decepticons until now. So let's go ahead and get Snarl out of the packaging here, and we'll take a closer look. So we have Snarl here out of the packaging, decked out in kind of what reminds me of a Junkion color scheme, if I'm being honest. He's even got some spikes around that kind of give him a Junkion feel. He's got these like exhaust pipes over here. You can see he's got kind of a exhaust stack over here as well. Nice Autobot symbol there on the shoulder. And then he's got this kind of spiky shoulder pad over here done in yellow. Like I said, definitely giving me Junkion vibes, even though he is a Dinobot. Over here on the back, you can see you have the spikes of the Stegosaurus splayed out to the side, which I think looks pretty cool. I think the head sculpt is great. Really like that there with the giant visor. Kind of the weird smirk. Really nice silver paint there for the face. A little bit of silver there for the head crest as well. You can see the blue eyes there for the head of the Stegosaurus, which we'll see a little bit later on once we transform him. But yeah, overall, I think he's pretty cool. Articulation pretty standard as all the others. Ball joint here for the shoulder is a little hollow there, but again, that's kind of where the ball joint goes in, and then that's the connection for the Dino mode. A little bit of hollow here on the kind of forearm and bicep area, but not too bad. Then you have a ball joint here in the hip. Again, a little hollow in the thigh area, and of course because of the transformation, although not as hollow as it could be. So you have a ball joint there. You can kick pretty far back. That will kind of hit into that. Kick pretty far forward, pretty far out to the side. You have the knee bend. And then very similar to Galvatron, he's got like his little dino claw there hidden inside the knee in robot mode. Honestly, this guy reminds me of Galvatron quite a bit. If we bring Galvatron back in here, it's definitely a completely different mold. Like there's no reused pieces or anything, but the way he transforms, the way the head sits on the chest here, the way you have like the extra little foot hidden by the knee. He transforms very similar, where they both have those pegs on the back of the upper thighs. And then the arms just peg into the side. So transformation for these two, I feel like, is very similar. Obviously, like I said, no parts are reused, just kind of the style is the same. But yeah, overall, I think he looks pretty cool. His accessory is his big Stegosaurus tail. You can see done in this kind of nice metallic silver. And he can hold this in his hand as a sword, which I think looks kind of cool. I don't really know what else you'd do with it. I kind of thought it was weird that Galvatron's did not connect this way. But that's because he had that big kind of rectangular peg, and then that's why they made him hold it, which again, I don't know why. It doesn't look like a gun at all. So I think it's more convincing as a sword, which I prefer. I think that looks pretty good. So yeah, all in all, I think he looks pretty great. Like I said, color scheme, while I like it, is a little weird for a Dinobot. Definitely feels more like a Junkion. But let's get into his transformation. So like I said, it's almost exactly the same as Galvatron. We're going to start over here, and we're just going to push the 2 stacks of plates there onto the back. And then we are going to push this forward, very similar to Galvatron. And then this is going to come down here. And I don't know if this one actually clicks into place, but you can see that it will stop about there. The 2 legs do not peg together. Instead, you bring them up, and then they will peg into these square, rectangular, I should say, pegs on the back. And then you can take the tail and feed it through here and plug it into that spot right there. You have to do this after the legs are transformed, because there's no way you're going to do it after. You can see how the tail kind of has like a nice beveled area for the toes of the feet to kind of rest there. And it looks pretty uniform there with the spikes. I think that worked out pretty well. And then, of course, the last thing to do is just take the peg here on the side and peg that into the arm very simply. And there is Snarl in Dino mode. Snarl's Dino mode looks pretty good. Like I said, I really like the plates here on the back. I feel like that feeds pretty well into the plates from the tail. Yes, there is a little bit of a gap, but not really much they could do about that. Legs compact up pretty nice, and like I said, you do have the tiny little hooves, claws, back legs, whatever we want to say, of the dino visible there. They tried to kind of mold them into the side, so that from the side it kind of looks like it's there, but you do still just have those giant fists hanging out, and I wish there was some way to cover them, but not much you can do. Stegosaurus head looks good. I really like the blue paint for the eyes, and his mouth actually opens. It's a little difficult to get a nail in there, but it can open. Another reason he reminds me of Galvatron. They're the only two that have mouths that can open. So I think that looks pretty good. I'm liking that. I do kind of wish these were painted silver just to kind of keep with everything else being silver. I understand why they're not, but it's kind of weird with those plates being the only ones in orange. And I still think the exhaust ports here on the shoulder are a kind of weird touch. But other than that, yeah, I think the Stego mode is pretty cool. So at this point, the Decepticons definitely outnumber the Autobots, but they do have Grimlock, so he's got to count for at least more than one. Plus, we have Prime coming tomorrow to even out the odds. Yeah, at this point, I'm really just missing Bumblebee and, of course, Scorponok. I can't wait to find him somewhere, but just wanted to show a little collection of everyone together so far. I think Snarl's a lot of fun. I love the robot mode. I love the dino mode. Transformation's pretty simple to go back and forth. But a couple things about him definitely confuse me. The color scheme, of course, is definitely reading Junkion. Kind of a weird choice for a Dinobot. And then also kind of having like the spikes and the exhaust. Definitely, again, giving me Junkion feels. I almost feel like, was this planned to be something else? It doesn't seem like it because, of course, the molding and the transformation lends itself to the dinosaur. But it almost feels like maybe at some point in the planning stages, this was going to be a different character, and some of the molding and colored choices fed over to that or stuck around. I don't know. I might be completely making this up, but it's definitely kind of an odd coincidence, especially like the legs. Like the legs could 100% be a Junkion with no changes whatsoever. The shoulders, I don't know, like I said, and even the head sculpt is kind of reminiscent of a Junkion, so it kind of feels like a fusion of two ideas, or maybe something changed in the planning. I don't know, just kind of a weird design. I like it, it's fun, just kind of a little baffling. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, thanks so much for watching.